try and make it a good one. So we have Puya 2007 from Iran, 1900. And we're going to get one last 5-minute game before the show is over. We got ourselves another Sicilian. Let's see what line he's going to choose this time. The Najdorf. Okay, we'll go for one of the most critical lines here with I don't know actually what it's called. The bishop g5. Maybe it doesn't even have a name. But anyway, it's pretty illustrative the way you're pushing forward with bishop g5, f4, queen f3, long castle. That this is not a line where you mess around at all. This is a line where you go for the throat. Actually, I think e5 may have been. I have some sort of recollection that e5 may be a little bit premature there, because you may take on d4 and then d5 and then knight d5 maybe. I'm not too sure. But after you take on e5 immediately, I sort of get everything that I want. Yes, he does get a half open b file that potentially can be used for an attack, but his bishop on d5 is really kind of dead at the moment, and I do get very quick play here with knight coming to e4 and also c4, and I could have won a piece there with a3, since the knight has no retreating square, but I was trying to be cute with it, and in the process I missed a pretty important detail, which is that after gf ef6 he does have queen c5, which ensures that he can actually fight on pretty well, seeing as queen g3 can be met by queen g5, exchanging queens, and there's no mate. So this means that yeah, you should usually keep it simple in these situations. Just go a3 and win the knight on d5, and in the process the game. Now I could take on d7, but then he gets to take on a2 at the very least to bring his knight back to b4. So now I am going to challenge his knight. A couple of moves too late, but what can you do? He does have queen g5 and queen g6, king a1, knight c2, king a2. I think I'm still doing well there, but at least it's very complicated and sort of fitting for last game of the day. Now, however, saving the bishop was not the correct idea, since that bishop is really, really poor, being hemmed in by his own pawns. He does find the only way to save his queen though here, to his credit. I don't think I can actually trap the queen. Like queen f4, there's e5. If queen h5, there would have been g4, so that's a trap. But e5, and then don't have a good square for the queen, and he can go queen g4 later on. So I don't think I'm trapping the queen. So I'll just grab the free bishop. Okay. Anyway, I'm bringing the rook into the game. Yeah, I guess I missed rook d5 there. Would have won on the spot. What can I say? You can't see everything. Not even close. F4 now, there's queen e4. So he has to go rook g8, but obviously I'm winning a in a number of ways. I think rook g6, it's not the only move, but it's quite instructive in the way that I'm just removing my pawns so that his king has no protection whatsoever. Now rook h1, and he's in huge trouble. The normal way to protect the pawn on h6 would have been king g7, then I had rook g1, winning the queen. Now after h5, rook g7 is forced because queen g7, rook h5 is mate, or king h7, bishop f5 wins the queen. But here, obviously, is still in a world of trouble. For instance, queen g5, queen e8, followed by queen h5. Sorry, rook h5 wins the queen, and that's going to be the end of the game.